So there's no motion offered on this, and it's something that we're just here to discuss.
Yes.
Um, at this point, I'd like to hear from Councilor LeBlanc and then Councilor O'Hara, and then we'll move on to other discussion.
Hey, Court, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. I just have some questions, and it's just, you know, I try to be, like you heard me earlier, brutally honest. I ask the questions. This is where we get everything done here. So where is everybody going to park? I mean, we just passed an ordinance that doesn't allow parking anywhere on the side streets around the beach. So where are the surfers going to park?
Well, I think this would, if surfers are coming during the day, they would have to park in the parking lot.
Okay. All right, because I think in our rules, it says you can't, you know, do those things on the beach while it's during the day. You can't play certain balls. You can't place, there's certain rules during the beach. So I just don't know who's going to police, you know, droves of people coming in with surfboards. And now, is it just going to be for Gloucester people? Or is it going to be for anybody on the North Shore?
You mean these expanded hours?
Yes.
So, I mean, it would be limited by parking access. So if people are willing to utilize the parking lot, I think that will be self-limiting, because I think a lot of surfers would just choose to go to New Hampshire and other spots that don't have a $30 surfing fee. So I think there is a bit of a self-limiting element because of the parking during the day. If there were, you know, if it was a bad weather day like today, I know sometimes the parking lot is just open, but I don't see this as being something that would bring in a huge number of additional surfers, because I think because it's going to be at the discretion of the lifeguards, it really is not going to be a reliable, and quite frankly, the change is going to be quite minor. We're not asking for full access every day. So I think for most surfers, it probably won't be worth it to come and pay the parking fee. And so I think that will be quite a limiting factor.
Now you said discretion of the lifeguard. I don't know what the lifeguard's responsibility is as to policing people, but you know, if we pass an ordinance that allows expansion and a lifeguard comes in and says there's too many people out there, and somebody says, well, it says I can do it, you know, I mean these are kids most of the time, so I just don't know, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, these little kids were coming at somebody saying you can't get in there, and somebody pushing past them, and I'm like, where does this little kid go at that point?
When you say little kids, do you mean the lifeguards?
Yeah, well, I'm 50, so they're all little kids to me. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That was part of the reason why I took we went down on Saturday and talked to them, and we had a really long conversation about whether, you know, they felt like this was going to be a stress on them, a responsibility. And quite frankly, they all felt very confident, and, you know, many of them are surfers and have relationships with the surfers, and really don't feel like it's something they can't handle. I mean, quite frankly, you know, they've been hired to save lives. So that's why we're doing this pilot program. If there's an issue where surfers are not complying, then that's the end of it. But I talked to 5 different lifeguards, and they all said that they did not see that as being a challenge for them, and that they felt completely capable of calling the surfers. And it's something they do pretty much on a daily basis, because we are allowed to surf until 9. So when there is surf, there's typically surfers in the water until 9. And usually the lifeguards will let us stay until 9:30, 9:45. And then they just come out and they wave us in. And it's just not a big issue. And especially in the summer, the surf is usually pretty small, and there's just not that many people in the water. So I honestly don't see it as a big issue. And like I said, the requests are so kind of small. It's just a small amount of time when there's very few. We've identified times that we think there's very few people in the water, or no swimmers. Like on Saturday, there was literally no one in the water. that would be a time when the lifeguards wouldn't need to call people out because there's no safety issue if there's nobody in the water. But if that were to change, let's say suddenly the sun came out and become warm, they would just, paddle out and say, hey guys, out of the water. And that's something we do every day. I mean, every day there's surf, they come out and they say, hey guys, time to come in. And it just hasn't been an issue.
Sean, can I have one more question?
Council Blank.
Yes. I agree, Courtney, 100,000,000%. And I said this last time while we we're at the council up at there. I'm a hunter. I abide by every single, that's my passion, hunting, fishing, being outdoors. I get all my licenses. I follow every single rule, but there's always that very small amount of people that ruin it, that give us a bad reputation. You know what I mean? So that's the thing is, and I don't say that you're not going to be respectful or somebody else is going to be respectful, but all it's going to take is that one time for it to be ruined. I've had land shut down because of one person. I've had, the green police come in because of one person. So all it's going to take is one person, just so you guys know that, we all try to do the best we can. Probably like you, I go in the woods just like you go in the water. You pull out trash. I walk out of that. I'll walk out of anywhere I'm at with more crap in my pockets than I went in with. So I completely understand, but it's just you get the bad eggs.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's a little different in surfing is we're all together, so there is a lot of peer pressure, and I honestly feel, and the lifeguards I spoke to yesterday or Saturday felt this way too, with a little common sense kind of flexibility that we're requesting. I really think surfers are going to be jumping through hoops to comply because I believe they will be so appreciative of the opportunity, and there will be a lot of self-policing from the 99% who are, respectful and understand that this is a privilege. And if there is a bad apple, those people will be getting, a lot of encouragement from the rest of us. I honestly don't see it as a problem, but again, that's why we're doing this as a pilot program to just see, if it works. And I really am confident that it will.
Thank you, Court. And I just ask questions. If I don't ask questions, I'm not doing my job. So I appreciate it.
Some of this is not intuitive, you're not a surfer and you're not out there every day doing this. So I totally get where the questions are coming from.
You can take me anytime. I'm willing to learn.
Oh, good. Come out.
Councilor O'Hara, do you have anything to add to the discussion or questions?
Certainly. Thank you very much. Thank you, Courtney, for being in front of us. I think it's unfair to really debate this, as Councilor LeBlanc has said there, and yourself, Councilor Nolan. There really isn't anything on the table. I am concerned with our lifeguards on any given day have more on their plates to deal with, and to add something, I think, just adds additional stress and also tremendous liability to our city. There's documentation out there of rogue surfboards getting away, where the surfer doesn't have the leash on the board, gets away from them, and the rest is history. And we, as a city, we certainly don't want anyone, and I know the surfers don't want anyone injured. But I've seen, I've been at Good Harbor at 5 o'clock when the surfers show up, and it's a busy day, it's a hot day, and we still have a lot of people in the water, and it does speak, and the lifeguards aren't present, and it's been a pretty ugly scene at times. And I think it's, obviously we bring this to full council for full debate, and we can talk about it, but I'm very concerned about the liability that our city will be exposed to. We have enough liability just every between June and September of putting lifeguards on the beach and keeping our residents, constituents, and visitors safe as just a swimming hole, so to speak. To add another dimension is just adding, again, more liability. But again, I'm certainly open to allowing this to go its course and to come before full council for full debate. Should it go in that direction? So again, Courtney, thank you very much.
Or can I just respond a little bit?
Of course.
Courtney, you can respond.
Okay, thank you. So I encourage you, you probably didn't have time to see it, but I did interview lifeguards. He's a veteran lifeguard, Thad Fulmer, and he expressed, complete a high level of comfort with managing surfers. He said that would probably be the easiest thing he would have to deal with today. And the other lifeguards I spoke to informally reiterated that. So I encourage you to watch those videos. I actually have more from him. I can get more quotes about his comfort level with managing it. But just to reiterate, we're asking to surf at times when there's very few or no surfers in the water. Like Saturday, there was literally, and you'll see in the video that I sent you, it was, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and there was no one in the water. So at those times, there's really no possible safety issue because there was literally no one in the water for hours on end. So we actually are looking for opportunities to not surf when it's crowded, like after 5. That's not something we're not interested in surfing at those busy times. So this is an attempt to create opportunities to surf when there's few to no surfers in the water, which would mean there wouldn't be a liability issue for the city, and also empower the lifeguards so that if people did come into the water, they could call the surfers out. And right now, the lifeguards don't feel like they have that discretion. So we really want to empower them to do that so that we can create a safe environment for everyone. But please listen to the videos, look at the videos I sent in the email to everyone. And I think that will help kind of explain where we're coming from.
All right. Courtney, one thing that you had brought up is that the ordinance says you can't surf after 9. And you said that the lifeguards have given permissions and saying it's all right, keep going, don't worry about there's no one here. The actual ordinance is 9. So at that point, it's breaking the law. To say self-policing would be a difficult thing to back up because you're already not self-policing. If you surfed after 9, then you're technically breaking the law because the lifeguard does not have to say it's an ordinance. And that makes it difficult for me to go forward with a decision like this. No, hold on, Courtney. This is not a public hearing. This is a question and answer from our committee, and I'm not trying to be rude. That is 100% what you had said, and the ordinance does say 9. It's not up to the lifeguards. It's not up to lifeguards to be interviewed. We have a chain of authority in the city of Gloucester, and the lifeguards work for the Department of Public Works. They work for the safety of our people. So my next step right now is to stop you for a second and bring in our DPW director, Michael Hale, for his perspective on this.
Can I just add that actually the law says, does allow for the discretion of lifeguards. The law says serving is prohibited from Memorial Day to Labor Day between the hours of 9 and 5, except with the permission of the lifeguard. So the ordinance does state that the lifeguards have discretion.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Mike Hale, please.